And Caitlin knows where Aliyah Boston's going to be. Aliyah Boston knows where Caitlin's going to be.
Caitlin and Aliyah have almost a poetic pick and roll action going all the time. Caitlin can already find her teammates, but just the fluidity between her and Aliyah, it's like they're...
And Caitlin is aware of Aliyah's location. Boston will be Aliyah. Boston is aware of Caitlin's whereabouts. Remember how rookies and sophomores were supposed to fade in the playoffs? Caitlin Clark and Aliyah Boston didn't get that memo. They just pulled off feats that even WNBA legends couldn't match at their age. At the age of 22, the duo became the youngest to ever achieve these feats. They almost have a poetic pick-and-roll action going on all the time. Caitlin can already find her teammates, but the fluidity between her and Aliyah makes it seem like they're on a different wavelength. The world continues to observe Boston and Clark accomplish more than merely set records. They broke them. Clark surpassed the legendary Cynthia Cooper to become the youngest player in history to score 25 or more points in an elimination game. These are more than just stats. Boston is now the youngest player to record 15 points and 15 rebounds in a postseason game. Clark did a fantastic job lobing it to Boston, but how did they do it with new faces for the season? Before we get started, please remember to subscribe to the channel. Are you ready? The pressure was tremendous, but the pros rose to the challenge and went from a 1-8 season start to playoff history. Their journey is one for the books. We're going to see a transformation not just of two players, but of an entire franchise, and possibly even the league itself. I appreciate how Aliyah Boston is investing in this young rookie. It's meant to be difficult. This is an adjustment phase, and Aliyah makes sure that her rookie understands that we have his back. The future is hot, the future is fevered discussion. I adore Aliyah's leadership. Caitlin Clark's first professional season wasn't all highlight reels. Despite the fact that she faced expectations as high as her three-point arc as a Boston College star and WNBA newcomer, Oliver Cole's being criticized for his gender newcomerness ending. Even her biggest followers might be surprised by one aspect of her story. When Clark joined the WNBA, it was a media frenzy. The excitement was genuine, but so was the pressure as she took the court for the Indiana Fever. Everyone was watching to see if she could translate her college success to the professional level. The regular season was a wild ride, filled with learning curves, adjustments, and moments of brilliance. But don't be fooled. Things are being done by Caitlin Clark. After that, she faced the Connecticut Sun in the playoffs, surpassing her years. Although it may not seem like much at first, Clark's first game performance was a masterclass in all-round play. In Game 1, she scored 11 points, pulled down 4 rebounds, assisted 8 times, stole 3 rebounds, and blocked 1 block. Only 2 other WNBA players have ever recorded this stat line in a postseason game: Candace Parker in 2017 and Courtney Vandersloot in 2021. Clark joined this elite organization during her first postseason appearance, and neither of the two veterans was able to accomplish this in their freshman year. However, Clark continued to make history in Game 2, where elimination was at stake, scoring 25 points, 6 rebounds, and 9 assists. She became the youngest player in history to score 25 points or more in a do-or-die playoff game thanks to this performance. The previous record holder, WNBA legend Cynthia Cooper, set the record in 1997 at the age of 34. At the young age of 22, Clark broke this record, and I feel incredibly fortunate to be here right now. What's really amazing is how mature Clark was in handling the tremendous pressure following the playoff loss. Beyond her years, AB stated that there is a lot for us to hold our heads up to, and that it's a good little taste of what is achievable for this business and company. This mindset is changing not only Clark's game, but the entire Fever franchise. The impact is tangible as playoff ticket prices for Clark's games have increased from roughly $200,000 to nearly $65,000 in a single year. As you may know, this team won 5 games 2 years ago, so we're a young and relatively inexperienced group. All of us had a great time playing together. Clark's presence is redefining what it means to be a WNBA player. She's not just playing the game, she's changing it. Her ability to create plays, score under pressure, and elevate her teammates is giving a struggling team new life. I believe she will have scored the most points in the WNBA by the end of the season, and last night she scored 45 points. Her ability to remain calm and collected despite showing her emotions on her sleeve has captured the attention of not only women's basketball, but also the world of women's sports. However, Game 1 of the playoffs wasn't without drama. Clark struggled with her shot, going 4 of 17 from the field, but even on a bad night, her playmaking was evident with those 8 assists. That's something, Clark said. Clark stands out due to her versatility and ability to influence the game in a variety of ways. Although the Connecticut Sun may have won the series, her performances made it obvious that she is here to play at the highest level and that she is only just getting started. She entered the WNBA with high expectations, and we saw her become the most influential player we've seen in a generation. Her debut season, which was capped off by these historic playoff performances, isn't just a personal triumph, it's a glimpse into the future of the Indiana Fever and the WNBA as a whole. If you've watched this far and are enjoying the video, please remember to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. Now, let's get back to the action. At the conclusion of her debut campaign, we can say the same dang thing about her accomplishments. They are incredible. Clark's brilliance lit up the court, but she wasn't the only one who made history behind the scenes. Another newcomer was subtly upending expectations, and the man receiving the prizes was a lot more subtly upending expectations. For example, Aliyah Boston, the 2023 WNBA Draft's top pick, began her career on shaky ground before something clicked, and the league wasn't prepared for what happened next. The transition from college superstar to WNBA pro isn't always easy. Boston's early days with the Fever were a roller coaster as the team struggled to find its footing, and Boston grappled with the intense physicality of the pro game. Both fans and critics began to question whether the hype surrounding the top pick was justified, but those who doubted Boston were in for a surprise. Boston faced tremendous pressure from day one as the Indiana Fever pinned their hopes on the young forward, a former NCAA Most Outstanding Player and Division I champion, to turn things around. I mean, Aliyah is probably one of the hardest working players that I've ever been around. She is, everything about her wants to be better, wants to be great, and she does not. She does not take any of that for granted. I mean, she works at her craft, and when you do that, a lot of times basketball will repay you, and this is one of the ways the 2024 Olympic break proved to be a turning point for Boston. Something changed during that time off. Maybe it was a chance to catch her breath, to study the game, or to fine-tune her skills. Whatever the reason, when Boston returned to the court, she was a different player post. Olympic break Boston unleashed her true potential. Her confidence soared, and her impact on the game became undeniable. She started dominating the paint, grabbing rebounds and scoring with efficiency that made opponents take notice. This wasn't just a good sophomore finding her groove, this was a star in the making. Then came the playoffs against Connecticut and Boston. Chose the biggest stage to make her loudest statement yet. In her playoff debut in Game 1, she put up a staggering 7 points, 11 rebounds, and 2 blocks. To put that into perspective, only 2 other players in WNBA history have matched or exceeded these numbers in their playoff debut. For a rookie, Liz Cambage and Lisa Leslie are elite company. But Boston wasn't done changing the course of history. In Game 2, at the age of 22, she became the youngest player in history to record 15 points and 15 rebounds in a playoff game. Boston was also out-rebounding veterans and making a lasting impression on the league, demonstrating her enormous potential for the future. You're going to be incredible. You are fantastic. Boston's accomplishments are even more remarkable because she enhances Caitlin Clark's skill set while Clark shines with her long-range shooting and spectacular passes. Boston's one-stop punch has the power to change the course of the Fever's future. Additionally, Kelsey Mitchell's outstanding and reliable play and Lexi Hull's scorching shooting have both excelled this season, a topic we recently discussed in a separate feature on the channel. Come take a look. The entire team did. Caitlin Clark, a Boston teammate, couldn't stop singing "Praise Dog" and came up with critical shots that knotted it for us solidly in overtime. The 2 young stars' respect and admiration for one another portends well for their future success and chemistry. Boston's development has had an impact that goes much beyond her personal numbers. The Fever's identity has changed as a result of her rise to prominence in the paint industry. They now have a strong inside-out game that keeps opponents guessing. Boston's journey from a difficult start to playoff dominance is a testament to her tenacity and work ethic. It serves as a reminder that greatness doesn't always manifest itself right away. Sometimes it develops subtly before exploding when the stakes are highest. The Fever season ended with the final buzzer, but it also signaled the start of something much more important. Records weren't just broken during this series, they were shattered, and the WNBA is now preparing for a new era. More than just a basketball game, the Fever vs. Sun playoff series was a collision of eras, with the young Indiana upstarts taking on the long-standing Connecticut powerhouse. The energy was palpable, the atmosphere was electric, and this wasn't just another playoff series. It was a glimpse into the WNBA's future. As I've mentioned, I take great pride in my ability to do a variety of things for this team. Like, I want to be able to get the ball off the glass and just go in transition and find my teammates and set them up. But obviously 13 assists means that my teammates made 13 shots off my passes, so that goes to them. At the heart of it all were Clark and Aliyah Boston, two young stars who refused to let the postseason intimidate them. Their individual performances were impressive, but what was even more important was the way the Indiana Fever team was changing before our eyes. A team on the rise was evident from their enthusiasm on the court and how they drove the favorite Sun to the limit in Game 2. Boston's domination in the paint and Clark's ability to create plays were enhanced by the seasoned leadership of players like Kelsey Mitchell and Lexi Hull. Each managed to close the gap between the team's competitors, and Lexi Hull, as a result, the team did not resemble the struggling Fever of the previous season after losing to Connecticut. Perhaps sting, but it's obvious that this playoff run was only the start. Clark, with two young superstars who are only going to get better, Boston and the rest of the Fever have demonstrated that they are capable of not only competing, but also performing at the highest level. Their performances have raised the bar for what rookies and sophomores can accomplish in the postseason. They have a strong, amazing quartet in Clark, Boston, Mitchell, and Hull, have demonstrated their ability to compete with the league's top teams, and perhaps most significantly, they have captivated basketball fans worldwide. The players lose out to ignoring the hashtag training wheels in favor of the WNBA as a playoff run. The league has always had great players. The Clark's incredible play is something unique. The Fever are not only outstanding athletes, they are also marketable, affable, and relatable. In other words, the kind of celebrities who can propel the WNBA to new heights. The upcoming seasons should be thrilling.